Okay, sorry I don't have an untitled review show for you. Long story short, fatigue is back. And it's not as bad as it was before. I don't think it's going to interrupt, like, getting 2 videos out a week. But every once in a while, it will just take me out for a day. And that's kind of what happened Thursday. And I still got work done. I watched the movie for the NC, and obviously I saw Kung Fu Panda 4. But, yeah, every once in a while you might get kind of a smaller video like this. So I apologize. I don't think it should get in the way. I am going to see a specialist. I got to wait a month for it, but I went to the doctor, got tested, and they're like, these are fine. Like, we don't know what's wrong, so I'm going to see a specialist about it. But with all that said, I'm feeling good enough to review this movie I just saw yesterday. And if you're not aware of my thoughts on the other Kung Fu Panda movies, I actually did do a nostalgia critic just summing up all the movies, well, 1 through 3, and I really, really liked them. They were surprisingly really, really good. It was so funny when the first one came out, because everyone, I mean, when they saw the trailers, was like, Kung Fu Panda, right? Like, this is what we're doing now. And I remember that was the first film I saw on digital projection, and it was just so eye-opening to me to see a film like that was already very, you know, obviously computer generated, so it's already very digital and just exists in that realm, and it was just so clear and so bright and so colorful, and I was blown away by the comedy, I was blown away by the animation, I was blown away, you know, just by the philosophy of it too, that it was really trying to go into, you know, sort of that martial arts philosophy and like really bring it to kids the same way like Avatar: The Last Airbender did. Second one I thought was even better. Third one was really good. It's probably the least of the films of the original 3, but it's still really, really good. You know, I give them all 4 stars, maybe the third one 3.5, but still very, very good. Very, very well done. So now we have this 4th one, a film that nobody asked for, but it didn't look bad, I guess. You know, I don't think anybody was like angry that there was another one, but nobody was super excited that I knew about. And that's the right mindset to go in with. This is a good movie. I can't say, oh, it's okay. It's better than okay. It really brings the goods in a lot of areas. It has good animation. It does evolve the characters a little bit more. It doesn't just repeat anything. Well, okay, it repeats what you want to see repeated. Like, it brings back some villains and stuff like that. It has the heart. It has the most of the comedy. It's pretty decent. It does not have the deepness of the other movies. But again, it does have a fair amount of heart, so I think that kind of makes up for it. It's one of those films where it's very easy to predict what's going to happen, what characters are going to do, what direction it's going to go in. But those movies are honestly fine as long as it gives us something new to gravitate towards. And while it's hard to say this gives us anything new, it gives us what we like seeing in these movies. When a fight happens, the martial arts is very, very good. They're kind of like animated Jackie Chan fights where they're very, very funny. They're both combining some really good action, fighting, choreography, even though it's animated. I mean, but that's kind of an even bigger advantage because you can go even faster and you can have them, you know, run on the ceiling, run on walls, bounce off the walls and stuff like that, you know, and it's totally natural for them to do that. So combining that with martial arts is great, but they'll also combine it with funny comedic moments. Like there's a moment where they're fighting in this room that has all these, you know, ancient trophies and ancient ruins and all these valuable things, and while they're fighting, they're trying not to knock over all this stuff, or one character's trying to knock them all over and the other's trying to catch them all. So, I mean, that's kind of a classic routine, but again, done in animation, done with this team, it can be very, very funny, and it is. The, characters that they're kind of advertising are in this. It's not false advertising because, you know, it's showing all the villains are in this, and that's technically true. But they only have the voice actor of one of them. And the Fearsome Five are technically in this, but none of the voice actors are, and they only show up for a cameo. And at first when I saw that, they have a scene where they're like, hey, where's the Fearsome Five? Oh, well, they're off doing yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, we're doing this, man. I don't know. But then I thought of Toy Story 4, where they had all the characters come back, and they were either reduced down to one joke or like one line. Some didn't even get a line, so I'm thinking like it would be a little tricky to squeeze them into the story. How would you do that? I think you technically can, but there's already enough going on in a movie where they do still want you to care about these people and their dilemmas and stuff like that. I was going, yeah, I can see why they wouldn't necessarily have them come back, but if you're looking for a film that's like, this is the grand finale, the big epic finale, I mean, this is what the Kung Fu Panda movies are all about, it's not that. It doesn't have, like I said, the really deep teachings of the other movies. It doesn't have the epic drama of the other movies, which sounds so strange, the epic drama of Kung Fu Panda, but if you've seen these movies, you know they can get surprisingly really, really heavy. And that's not here. But like I said before, there is a lot of heart. They have this other character, this fox that Poe has to travel with, played by Awkwafina, who about 50% of the time is fine. Like the performance is fine and everything, and the character is fine. Even though, again, it's very easy to figure out what they're gonna do with the character. But there is something where about half the takes, I do kind of hear Awkwafina's performance, and I say, man, that should have had a take two kind of thing. She has a very distinct voice, which is really good. I actually really like her voice. But it is one of those where, especially in animation that's supposed to be very, very active and move very quickly, it can almost sound a little too rehearsed or a little too much like she's in a recording booth, if you know what I mean. I feel like the film, I don't know if they shot with her and Jack Black together, but if they didn't do that, I think they should have, because I feel like they would have worked off each other a little bit more, because it does kind of sound like they're both shot on different days. And I think for this, where they're together in so much of the movie, they should really feel like they're talking to each other a lot more. But she's good. She gets a lot of the jokes that she has work. The dramatic moments work fine. The humor in general, I'd say about 2/3 of it are funny. There are some jokes that don't work, and you do kind of roll your eyes at them. But again, it's one of those comedies where if a joke doesn't work, they just quickly move on to the next one. They might have like 2 or 3 that don't in a row, and you'll start to go, oh man, is this where the film starts to go downhill? But then they'll have 2 or 3 that are very, very funny. So it balances out okay. And the villain is decent. I'd say probably better than the third one, but not as good as the other two. There's a choice made at the end with all the villains. Like, you've probably seen the advertising. A lot of the villains come back. I don't know about. There's something all the villains do involving Poe at the end, and I'm just like, I don't know if I buy that. I'm half and half on it. Like, part of me does say, I don't know, they're pretty evil, but another part of me is like, well, they're all dead. You know, so I mean, I won't go into what it is, but if you see the movie, let me know what your thoughts on that are. I was gonna say without going into spoilers, but I feel like you kind of have to in that, so if you're gonna look through the comments, just be careful, there might be spoilers there, but I think you always run the risk of that when you look in the comments of a movie review. With the villain, I love the idea that she can shapeshift, and I like when she does, you can still, you know, because it's literally a chameleon, and you see the scales on every single character as she changes into. I thought it was a really cool addition, and I'm a sucker for that trope, particularly like in something like this. Like, I love in Mortal Kombat, the last character you fight is a shapeshifter that can turn to all the people that you fought, and that's what this character does. She changes into all, you know, like his biggest enemies, and then there's like other enemies that she can change into also, that just adds to like the comedy of it, and then she combines them all at one point. I mean, stuff like that is so much fun. That's really taking advantage of your scenario. The other thing that did definitely stop me from loving this movie like it did the other ones is that while the animation is good, there's something very strange about the colors. It looks like there's some sort of smoke screen or some sort of like gray filter over the whole thing, at least in the screening I had. And sometimes it even looked, maybe it was a projector thing, but it looked like a touch blurry too, where again, I remember the first time I saw the first one, it was like one of the most clear films I ever saw. But I'm also thinking, well, maybe could it be like that was the first time I saw a digital projection, so it just looked a lot clearer to me, and maybe it wasn't. Or, I mean, it was clear, but maybe I've gotten used to it. I don't know, but I know the color palette in this film is nowhere near as vibrant as the other movies. I thought that was kind of a letdown But then they'll have things that they'll bring back familiar elements that are fun to watch. Like, there's a lot of focus on Poe's two dads in this, and they almost have like a buddy-buddy picture going on, on the side here. And they're surprisingly a good team up. They're very, very sweet to watch. You just see them bond over Poe, and it's really, really nice to watch. You can see them still try to grow, as characters as well. And, I thought that worked out pretty nicely, but nothing spectacular. Like I said, there's just the right amount of heart. I feel like if this was just a comedy, I don't know how far that would carry me. I would want more from Kung Fu Panda, but because there is a fair amount of heart in it, even if it's, like I said, pretty predictable, it's genuine. It works. And like I said, it's not a film that needs to exist, but here it is, it's presented to us, and for what they're presenting to us, it's good. It brings a lot of things that we like about the movie, but never goes beyond, and it never 100% matches it. But it is still an entertaining film. It's got, like I said, a fair amount of characters that you want to watch. You want to see them get through the story, even if you know where the story's gonna go. You want to see the fights. You laugh at the jokes. You feel emotional for, the heartfelt moments. So it is a good movie. I didn't really give a star rating to the others. I guess this is the first time I'm doing. I said the first three were probably 4-star movies. The third one I made 3.5 out of 4. This one I think is a solid 3 out of 4. It's good. You'll have a good time. You'll be invested. If you're looking for the big epic finale, it's not that. And I don't know if they should do another one for an epic finale. I think they should probably stop because, I think after 2, they've all kind of gone down by half a star, so I don't want to get to the point where they become bad. But, yeah. But I had a good time. It's a decent film. It doesn't match the original 3, but it is very, very enjoyable. With that said, what did you think? Did you see the movie? Did you really like it? Did you really hate it? Did you feel like maybe it betrayed a lot of what Kung Fu Panda was doing? This is just a cash grab? Or do you think maybe it was the best out of all of them? Did you think like it was a great finale for everything and this is what you always wanted to see wrapping up the movies? Let me know your thoughts and I will see you next time. Take care.